everybody, welcome to Push Your Luck Videos. My name is Eric and this is my video channel where I take a look at board games and talk about how they are played and what I think about the games and whether you should get the game or not. I often try to compare games of the same genre together and just let you know what type of games are out there and hope to bring more awareness to you about all sorts of different types of games. So if you like my video, do subscribe to this channel, leave me a comment, like, and also let me know what you think about the videos and maybe what other games that you think I should review. You can also join my guild on Board Game Geek. There's Push Your Luck Guild, right? And also go to our website at www.pushyourluckpodcast.com. That's pushyourluckpodcast.com, and also follow me on Twitter at Duckies. Now in this episode we'll be looking at First Class. First Class, the Orient Express. Now First Class is by designer Helmut Oli, right, who did a lot of train games, and he also did one of my favorite games of 2015 as Russian Railroads. So First Class is one of his two latest releases from in 2016. Alright, it is also about trains, and it's said to be a descendant of Russian Railroads. Alright, this is a 2 to 4 player game, and it plays about 20 minutes per player. You're trying to lay tracks for your trains, trying to get them to different destinations, and also try to upgrade your train so that they can carry more people, they are better quality, higher class, and you get more points. It has some similarity to Russian Railroads, but plays quite differently from Russian Railroads. So let's take a look at First Class, the components, how to play the game, and my thoughts about the game. This is also published by Z-Man Games. Alright, and much thanks to Z-Man Games for this review copy. So let's take a look at the game components, how to play the game, and my thoughts about the game. Alright, this is what you get in the box of First Class. First, let's take a look at the score track. So this is a score track where players will use their markers to take note of the points that they get during the game. Players will also be putting the cubes here. Right now, the cubes seem to be only for you to mark when you've passed the 50-point space on the track. The cubes are also used to mark when you activate certain things on your trains. Later on, I'll show you in the game. Next, players will also receive a player board. So this is a player board. What happens is that they'll be putting coins here, which they can then take away the coins to do actions later on. They're also laying journey cards here to show the train's journey as it move, or the train's path, or the train's train's journey. Here will be where the players will be putting their carriages card here. So each train, each player will only have one train that moves along a path that is set. Each train will kind of have 2 rows of carriages in a way. I'm not really sure how it works, but they have 2 rows of carriages where conductors can then move through and score points. And so it's very similar to how in Russian Railroads, where you are moving your train token along the track. This is where you're moving your conductor along the carriages this time. Alright. You also get this a box with a very nice insert. So these are all the cards that are available in the game. These are the carriages card here. Alright, it goes from 0 to 12. These are the 3 default piles that we'll be using in every game. There are also game end cards, which are like secret objective cards that will score you points at the end of the game. Then there are the 5 different modules that you can play. So during a game, you're using 2 of these modules, combining together, combining with the other 3 default piles that I mentioned earlier, and then that will be the game. There are also these nice thick cardboard tiles which will denote the Constantinople. So as the game is called the Orient Express, you're trying to, if you can lay a train track all the way to Constantinople, then you will score a lot more points. Each player will also have a set of wooden meeples. Alright, there's also coins in the game, and a start player marker, like so. Alright, and also some other cardboard pieces. So all in all, the game components are really nice. I would say that if you put them like so, if you have the cardboard inserts that you had previously when you punch out all this cardboard, try to keep them and stack them underneath so that the top of the inserts is flush to the top of the box, so that when you move them around, or if you transport them vertically, then the cards will not fly around. So that's a problem that I found if I happen to throw away my inserts. Alright, so all in all, the game components are really good and fine. So thumbs up to Z-Man Games. So let's take a look at how to play the game. So in Russian railroads, you realize that there's an action space where you can select your actions and do and build up your locomotion, and you build up your locomotive and your paths. Now in first class, that's very different. What you see is as 3 rows of 6 cards each. All right, this is made up of cards from the different piles. So there will be 3 piles, as I mentioned right at the beginning of this, earlier. There's 3 piles. You shuffle them with 2 modules. Then after each pile, you will lay out 6 by 3 grid, like so. The pile will last 2 rounds, and the entire game only lasts 6 rounds. So at the end of 6 rounds, whoever has the most points will win. That's the objective of the game. You're trying to get the most points. At the end of each even number round, there will be a scoring phase. So in Russian railroads, end of every round there's a scoring phase. In first class, only end of every even number round there will be a scoring phase. So in this case, during your turn, during each player's turn, you will choose one of the cards from here, do the action, and then that's it. That's your turn. All right. There are many different actions you can choose from. You have a player board as well. Depending on the card you choose, you'll be either inserting the card on here where you are laying tracks. So for example, if I take this card, all right, you can see that this card, you'll be laying tracks so that your train token can move along there. This card will be placed on top here like so. So you can see that it forms a track. So players will have a train token. Right, they can move from here to here and so on and so forth. Whenever they move past one of these symbols, they'll get points. So this means that when my train comes here, I immediately get 3 points. This pocket watch symbol only happens during the end of each scoring round. That means the end of every even numbered round. Round 2, round 4, and round 6. So if my train passes here or am here during the end of second round, I'll get 2 coins. Let's focus. I'll get 2 coins. If it passes here, I'll also get this. So you will activate all these pocket watches at the end of every even numbered round. So if my train token is here, for example, I'll get this ability and also get this ability. Alright, so that's quite powerful if you might have a lot of cards like this. Cards like this will mean that after you take this card, you do this action, which means that this conductor moves 2 spaces, or 2 conductors move 1 space each, and then you keep it with you, because this background may earn you some points depending on what end of game scoring points you have. All right. Then there are cards like this, where it's very similar to what I mentioned just now. You just do the actions and then you keep it with you. All right. These cards will allow you to. This means that you get a 0 carriage card, right? 0 carriage card, and you add it to your train. So you can add it either to the top part of the train or the bottom train. Up to you. And then you can also move your conductors along as well. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get as cards that you can, trying to focus on one strategy and trying to build your carriages or lay out a track for a train to travel. These are where you put your coins. Coins are loaded onto these spots from left. After you fill up one left column, then you can fill up the next column and fill up the next column. You can take coins anytime you want from any of them. But if they're empty slots, you need to fill them up before you can go to the next column. This means that you can add a 0 carriage card to any of the spaces, the rows, alright, top row or bottom row. This means that you can move the train 1 space or move the conductor 1 space. 1 conductor 1 space or train 1 space for every coin that you discard. This means that you can get to upgrade one of your carriages. So during a game, this is how a player board may look like. You can see that these are the carriages that I mentioned. So a train will have 2 rows of carriages that you can prep for and prepare and score points. Carriages are upgraded from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 7, and 7 to 12. And these are the conductors. So as you move them along the carriages, they'll score points at the end of each scoring round. So in this case, for example, this conductor will score me 4 plus 2 plus 1. This will be 12 plus 7 plus 4 plus 1. So at the end of each even numbered round, I'll be scoring these points. So this is how the conductor can score points. Very similar to how in Russian railroads, you'll be moving a train along the track, and then you'll be scoring points based on the types of tracks you lay in Russian railroads. This is the train. Alright, this is the train where you'll be moving along, as I mentioned just now. During each even numbered round, you'll be activating all the pocket watches and you'll be doing all this activity. So in this case, I can move conductors one space each. I can move the train one more space. I can move the conductor one conductor one space and add 2 0 carriage cards to either of them. Up to me. Alright, these are the coins that I can use to discard away to activate these abilities anytime during my turn as well. So this will be how a general player board will look like during the game. This is quite a table hog. As you can see that right now, later on you'll be laying more tracks. There's also when you lay the 5th track as well, you'll be getting certain abilities. There'll be some upgrades when you lay the sixth card. Right, there'll be some upgrades that you can choose from. Right, players will choose these abilities and then put this at the 6th card, like so. Then if you reach the 10th card, alright, if you reach the 10th card, which means that you have reached Constantinople, you have created your Orient Express, and then you can get this points. This card also shows that if you manage to if you're the first to place the number 10 card and you move your conductor there, you also score 20 points. Second 10 points, 5 points. I think it's the same on both sides. There's also a start player token. Alright, if someone takes a start player token, there'll be a new start player. In addition, the first player will get 2 coins, second player gets nothing, third player gets to add a 0 carriage card, fourth player gets to add a 0 carriage card or upgrade a 0 to a 1. So this is one of the things that you can choose instead of getting a card. I mean, you still get a card, you discard a card, you don't do action on the card, but you get a start player marker instead. So these are the different things that happen in first class. Now, as I mentioned, there's 5 different modules that you can play in a game, as you can see here. So there's module A, which contracts. So the first game, these are just module A and B. Alright, module A is contracts. If you play module A and B, it's like similar to the basic game of Russian railroads, where there's celebrities and postcards. You can upgrade your different carriages, and the first one is contracts, where you can fulfill the contracts and you get more points. The module C is pretty interesting because module C is a murder mystery. So it's a game where one of the players is a murderer and you're trying to figure out who the murderer is before the game ends. Then module D is passengers and luggages. This will mean that if you carry passengers in your carriages, they can score you points. If you carry more passengers, you score more points. Luggages will score you points as well. And the last one is switches and mechanics, which if you fulfill one part of the top carriage top requirement, then you get the bottom requirement. You get some benefits as well. So go to my final thoughts about the game. So that's how you play first class. So what did I think of first class? Right at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I liked his 2015 release, Russian Railroads, and some of these other expansions as well. I was looking forward to first class because since it's the same designer, I heard that it is very similar to Russian Railroads. I was definitely very interested in it and wanted to find out more. When I played it, it felt a bit more sandboxy than Russian Railroads. In Russian Railroads, you had a board where players can then do action selection, and they also have their own player board where they can move their tracks along and upgrade trains. In first class, it is much more dependent on the player. There's no board per se. There's only a very basic board which kind of sets up the skeleton for you, but it doesn't really lay out what you can do. Most of what you can do is based on the action cards that are available on the play area during your turn. Alright, and that makes it more flexible, so you could decide how you want to go. There's no real rails per se. Alright, there's no guidance to tell you what you can do and what you should do to score points. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. And so that some players do like the aspect. Personally, for me, I kind of felt that it was a bit hard to wrap my mind around. It was a bit too sandboxy for me, for my taste. I much preferred Russian Railroads board where I kind of know that okay, if I maximize the top track, the Siberia track, alright, I'm gonna get a lot of points, but it's very hard to master that. So and if I want to go by the factory track, these are the things I should look out for in the various game pieces on the board. Whereas in first class, depending on the module that you are playing, all right, it is a bit harder for me to figure out what I need to do to score points. All right, I do know that the very basic is that I need to upgrade my carriages. I can move my conductor along to score points. But how I go about doing that, it was not that easy for me to grasp. So that was a bit of a letdown for me when I played the game. The other thing also is that there's quite a lot of modules to try. I'm not sure whether all the combinations of modules will work. I believe they have tested it out and they have made sure that they should work fine. But most of the time, it felt a bit, when I'm playing the different modules, the chemistry between them was kind of awkward for me. All right. Also talking about player interaction. In Russian Roads, the most of the player interaction came from the main action area where you can block other players. Players can see clearly what you're trying to go for, and then they can try to block you if they wanted to. In first class, you can see what the opponents are going for, but often you don't really have the means to block them. You can block them by taking the card away that they want. All right, but there are probably a lot of other cards out there that they can choose, so they're not really blocked out per se. So I felt that the player interaction between in Russian Railroads is a bit more tighter, a bit more harder to a bit more clearer for players to see what you are going for and then what they can do to block you. So in first class, it's a bit. I felt that it was a bit fewer player interactions between players. That they can do. There's less things that they can do to screw each other up. Whereas in Russian Roads, it's a bit more. It felt a bit more competitive, a bit more challenging. There's more player anguish between the players when you took the action that they wanted to, and they can't do anything else. So my final recommendation for first class is that this is a try before you buy. I'm aware of some people who really like the game a lot. Personally, I do want to try a few more times to see whether I can pinpoint what is so different from Russian Railroads that make me prefer Russian Railroads more than first class. So for right now, it is a try before you buy. If you like Russian Railroads, do check it out. See, maybe you can let me know what your thoughts are between Russian Railroads and first class. All right, I'm very interested to find out whether there are people who think the same as me, who enjoy Russian Railroads more than first class. And then there are also people who I know will probably enjoy first class more than Russian Railroads. So do leave your comments at the end of the video. And thank you once again to F2Z or Z-Man Games, alright, for this review copy. And thank you so much for watching.